Anything from that?
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, madam.
Okay, so can we start or are we waiting for some time for the others? How many are there in the class? Last time there were 22. Okay, right. So we are going to do testing and non-testing techniques today, right? Right. Okay, now testing and non-testing. What do we do with both these things? Through testing and non-testing, what do we do? Even by doing testing or by doing non-testing, what do we do? Tell quickly. Tell. What do we do with these things? Testing and non-testing, we collect data, right? Even through testing, we collect data. Even through non-techniques like questioning, interviews, case study, we collect data, right? So then, when somebody is facing a difficult situation or facing a problem, we need to collect data about the person, about his interaction with others. So we can observe, we can have observation schedule. So we collect data from these methods, right? Then, as we discussed previously, what is the main aim of guidance and counseling? If anybody remembers, tell me what's the main aim of guidance and counseling? Yeah.
Overall development of an individual.
Yes, very good. It's the overall development of an individual, right? Apart from that, how do we know that somebody has got or somebody has got positive results from guidance and counseling? How can we notice? How can we understand? Now, if we have given guidance and counseling, guidance or counseling to a person, how can we make sure that this person has got positive results from that? Can you guess? Guess and tell me.
We can see some behavioral changes.
Yeah, that's great. So the person shows the behavioral changes rather than what he did previously. So the main aim of providing guidance and counseling is to enable the individuals to make adjustments in their life. We can see behavioral changes only if we adjust our life. As an example, if a person is always thinking negatively and be cornered and do not associate others, can change the behavior after getting guidance or counseling. He can be very helpful to others, playful, and associate everybody, cooperate with others. He may change the behavior. And finally, we expect him to lead a happy and healthy life. Right. Then, in especially in counseling, we keep records. So then, what are the advantages of keeping records of counseling? What are the advantages of keeping records? Why should we keep records? Now imagine now I have got a client who has a problem. So I talk to the client and I write down the time I had the interview or I had the meeting. Then I write the records. Okay, I asked these questions and he answered me like this, and I write my conclusions and all. Right. So what's the importance of doing that? Why should we keep records?
Yes, ma'am. This could analyze the client's changes, behavioral changes,
Yeah.
and the second thing that the improvement from the clients
Mm.
by using our records, we could see their improvement day by day or
Oh.
by their activities.
Good. So then by keeping records, it help us to find important information related to the client, reliable information. So sometimes we ask questions and get some answers, some important answers, some important information. So we go through some records, that means it's medical records or progress reports, and we get some information. So we can record them, write down and keep. So when we have the meeting next day, so we know what we have discussed with him, what kind of questions we have asked, what kind of answers he has given, what's the improvement of him rather than before. So we can get lots of information, and it's very useful. Recording is very useful. Otherwise, we can't remember where we have, what we have discussed, where we have stopped. Because if we have so many clients, we can't remember about each and every person. So the best thing is to keep records of what we have done. Okay. Right. So what are the uses of maintaining records? Go through the note and tell me in your own words. You go through this information and you can tell me from your own words. Okay. Yes. So then maintaining records is one of the main duties of the practitioners. That means being a counselor, we have to maintain records. Otherwise, we don't know what we have discussed, what conclusions we have come. So therefore, being a practitioner, being a counselor, we have to maintain records of the client. Then, by keeping records, we can go through these records and we can review them. And we can think of the best methods or best techniques we can use to help the clients. Best approach. එයාට ගව කරන්න පුළුවන් හොඳම approach එක හොඳම ක්‍රමය මොකක්ද කියලා අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So then, and what kind of information we have discussed, what we have, what kind of conclusions we have come to. So we can learn all these things by reading the records of the previous meetings. Then sometimes, now think of a client who has depression and who has become a problem to the others. Maybe that he is going to kill others or he is going to hit others. Then if they have some, if somebody is taking legal actions against him, then these records will be very, very helpful, because you know that people who are suffering from mental problems, they have some excuses. Then when it comes to give him punishments, so these mental, if they are suffering from mental diseases, they have some excuses. So therefore, these records will be very, very important. So therefore, when we are handling clients, we have to keep records. It's a must. Right. Then, records provide relevant information that the practitioners utilize when providing guidance and counseling services. So now the information that we have gathered during the meeting or during the interview, we can use them later on, right? Okay. Then the records maintained by the practitioners are confidential and they are available only to the client. So in counseling, there are some ethics we have to follow. Ethics. Even teaching, we have ethics. In every field, we have ethics. Saradharma, Acharadharma, so then confidentiality of information is a very, very important ethic we have to follow in guidance and counseling. So we should not give information of one person to the others. We should not give for any reason. We can give only when legal actions are taken against him, or when the courts request us some information, we can give. Otherwise, we can't give their information to anybody, right? And the most important thing is, if you are keeping records of the person, you have to inform him that we are doing so. We are keeping records of you. We have to inform him first, right? Because we can't keep records without the consent of the client. If he doesn't like, we can't do that. So then the main authority is with the client. So if he likes only, we can keep records. Okay, any other thing you want to give some ideas, the benefits of maintaining records? Yes, give some ideas apart from what is given here. What are the benefits of keeping records? That something that I could not discuss. I have forgotten that you know. Tell. හිතට නොනි අදහසක් කියන්න.
For health issues, ma'am.
What's that, Pute?
Health issues.
Yeah, healthy. Explain that.
If the client having some health issues
Okay.
related about his mental stability like that,
Mm.
so the counselors can show his records, and he can give some ideas to that doctors who are going to take care of that client, ma'am.
Okay, right. So yes, now sometimes when they have health issues, we can mention about that. So then in any case, if he needs to get some medicine from a doctor, that these records also will be helpful for him, right? Any other thing you want to add?
Yes, ma'am. It could be like a complete analysis of the client, because we can get to know the complete details regarding the client, such as
Okay.
whether he's having a disease or he's suffering with depression or any other problems. So we could make a list of the problems, and it can be a complete analysis of him. So we could
Okay.
understand whenever he is coming for the next meeting or something, we could see the improvements from him. In last time, particularly his depression level might be in a particular stage. In second time, according to his conversation, we will make a documentation of him, right? So and the second time, we could see the improvement from him. Also, the records will help us to take care of him and treat him. Like we don't know how to treat a person directly, right? So whenever we are treating the analyzing of the complete person, according to him, we can give the solutions or the suggestions to treat him, right?
Okay. Right. Thank you. It's a very good explanation. Yes. Now, when we have records, we already know what we have discussed previously. So what kind of conclusion we have come to? So then from there, because now if we do not have records, sometimes we will start from the very beginning next day also. But if we have records, we know that we have to continue from the thing that we have stopped. Then we can continue from there, right? So then if we have discussed about some matters, next day we don't need to discuss about it. We can discuss about something else or some other aspects of the client. So it's very, very useful to keep records, because as your friend Philip said, Filippo Anandaraja, Philip? Okay.
Anandaraja, ma'am.
Anandaraja, okay, well done. Have you done counseling? Have you learned counseling before, Buddha?
Yes, ma'am. I have completed a diploma in psychology, and I was associate
Okay.
partner of
Oh, that's great. So you can just give your ideas. Don't keep quiet. Then you can give some more ideas when you discuss.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah, because it will be helpful for the others as well, right? So as he mentioned that keeping records will be helpful to continue the interviews, because now if we have some information, so we can start from that day and continue. Then these information will be helpful to decide which approach we can use for this client and which strategies we can use and what kind of solutions he can come to, because normally counselors don't give solutions, they facilitate only, and the clients are encouraged to find solutions for his or her problems, but counselors facilitate them to come to a solution. Okay, right, that's good. Okay. Then, so the client's records may contain any information that can help to document the nature, delivery, progress, and the results of the guidance and counseling service provided, right? So then we can, from these documents, we can learn what kind of methods we used with the client to discuss with him, whether we ask questions, whether we did a case study, whether we gave a questionnaire, then the progress of the person, what's the progress of the client, whether he's the same or whether he has got any progress, and the results of guidance and counseling, what we expected, whether we could achieve what we expected. So all these things can be done. All these things can be done using the face-to-face interaction. So interviewing the client by the counselor, right? So the records typically contain these things. First and foremost thing is the data about the client, his age, his nature, the medication he takes, right? About the current situation, right? Then referral information. What do you mean by referral information? Anybody who knows? Referral information. What is referral? Anandraja, do you have any idea about referral? Anybody who knows about referral service?
Who gave the information about that client?
Referral mean, now sometimes the counselor cannot help him anymore, right? As an example, now imagine you are the teacher and you have some students in your class, and out of them one child is very weak in mathematics, but you are not a mathematics teacher, so you refer your child to an expert mathematics teacher. That is called referral. So if we can't do or if we can't help him further, we can refer him to somebody or to a psychiatrist or another counselor, right? A doctor. That is called referral. So if we can't help him anymore, we refer him to some experts. That is called referral. So then information about referral also can be included in the records. What else? Now we have to include information about the client, whether he has got any referral services, so he needs referral services. It also has been mentioned. What else?
Yes,
Date.
ma'am. Also, sorry, ma'am. Also, ma'am, which includes like sometimes the client might be think that he's having a psychological problem, but it might be a physical or body conditioning problems, right? So in that situation, we will contact some of the doctors or the people who are treating with that type of problems, right? So that is also which includes referral conditions.
Okay, right. So then apart from the referral, we need to include the date and type of service we gave him, whether we help him to take some decisions related to his problem, whether we facilitated him, whether we gave some information, whether we contacted somebody else whom he needs, right? So date and type of services provided and the fee we have got for the service. Then details of the counseling or guidance contract. Now we have it's a kind of contract with the counselor and the client. So what kind of contract is it? Then consultation notes, the notes with the client or the counselor has written down. Assessment and other tests and their reports. So we can have some other tests, psychological tests like this, and we can assess about his improvement, his progress, and we can write a report. So all these things can be recorded. Okay, then next one. It must be ensured that the records are maintained in a manner that to secure their confidentiality. So we discussed earlier also, confidentiality is very, very important. Therefore, we should not reveal their information to any other person. In case if we happen to give to the courts or the police, otherwise we should not give anybody. Right. Okay. Any other thing you want to add? What contains in the records? What else? Okay, tell me now what are things we have to include in the records now? Tell now.
Data about the client.
Yeah, data. What kind of data we can write about the client? What kind of data we can write in our records?
His
Yeah.
born year,
Family
his
background.
medical condition, his
Okay. His
medication
family
details,
background, date of
his
birth, family
background,
background. Then
medication details,
huh?
and medication details. The
Yes.
medication details.
Medication details, right?
Currently, currently, if he is having any, if he is suffering from any other diseases or
Okay.
any other
Diseases he's suffering
problems,
from.
psychological problems,
Psychological
and
problems he's suffering from. Then about his height, or even if we want, we can do all these things, and age, name, right? Okay. And his family background, parents, what do they do, and even we can write whether the parents help him or whether they have some kind of backup for this client or not, whether they have neglected him, so we can include them as well. Right. Okay. Right. Then so this, as we discussed earlier, this maintaining records is very much helpful or facilitate the guidance and counseling service, and it happens in an effective manner. Right. Then the client's records happen to be the most reliable information about the client, because now we get all these things by discussing with the client. Therefore, this information is very much reliable. හරිම විශ්වාසදායක තොරතුරු. ඒක client ගෙම තමයි අපිට එන්නේ. Right. Then what are the important things that includes in the in this records? Tell. Oh. These records provide essential information about the progress of the guidance and counseling sessions. What kind of progress is there? නිකම්ම හැමදාම මේ ඉන්ටර්වියු කර ඒවා ලියනවා නෙමෙයි, මේ මොකද්ද මෙයාට තියෙන progress එක, මෙයාට දැන් තියෙන දියුණුව මොකද්ද? Because of the guidance and counseling sessions, right? And how they have helped the client. එයාට negative thinker කෙනෙක් නම් එයා දැන් positively හිතනවද? Right? So like that. Then we have to create, when we are creating records, we have to create them in an unbiased manner. We can't be biased. So it should be very neutral. So then we have to do it in an unbiased manner. එයාට bias වෙන්නේ නැතුව අපි record එක තියාගන්න ඕනි, because then only we can find some solutions to his or her problems. Right. Types of records maintained. Jaganathan, do you have, Anandaraj, do you have any idea about cumulative records? What are cumulative records?
Yes, ma'am. I really don't know, but basically, cumulative records, which includes the student details, like in
Yeah.
most
Yes.
developed countries like US, UK, Canada, and those countries, they are having the cumulative records, which is the basis of contract. Whenever they are reaching to the teenaging age, and their parents will approach one of the psychologists, and
Okay.
they will give the guidance every week for
Okay.
an hour, or it can be a day, but they will go and meet them to understanding the teenage and the school life and the reality of the life. So it can be cumulative records, which is I heard, but I don't know exactly what was that.
Yeah, yes. So then they are very, very important records. They are maintained by the school counselors. Most of the time, that school counselor is a school teacher who has been selected for this purpose. So they are keeping records. Then sometimes one record for each student. For each student, they have one record. All the information about this child, about his age, about his growth, special skills, abilities, right? And his or her shortcomings, diseases, problems, all the things are included there. So then, so whatever the important thing, whatever the important information about the clients are included in cumulative records, right? What else you can add to this? Anything you can add to cumulative records? Okay. Next one, you know, what is report card or report sheet? What does it include? It's also kind of record about the child. What kind of records are included in the report sheets? Because you all have got reports in your life. What else? What kind of things are included there?
Marks, madam.
Class.
Progress the child.
Assignments, projects, tests, right? So then these marks are especially marks are included in the progress reports or report cards, right? Then it shows the academic performance of the student. Academic performance, whether he's good at academic work, whether he needs any outside help. So then that we can identify that from the progress report. So if he is very weak in one subject, we can identify the reasons for that, and we can employ a special teacher or a teacher who is good at mathematics, right? So then report sheets, they give us a lot of information about children. That is also kind of information we get through reports, that we can do some support for these children to overcome the barriers or problems. What are transcripts? Okay, read and tell me. You give your ideas, otherwise I'll be keep on telling something, but you also have to open your mouth and tell. What are transcripts? Now here we know transcript means the results of an exam, but here it's not. What is a transcript? Transcript record. What do they contain? What contains in transcript reports? Records.
Client behavior, madam.
Students' behavior is mentioned. Then
Performance.
their performance in the exams, at assignments, right?
Their achievements.
Then their development during the period of they stay in the school. What do we expect? What can we expect in development? What kind of development? Okay, tell. What are transcripts?
Whether the students are whether the students' brains are working fast.
Okay, right. So transcript records the students' behavior, their performance, their development during the period of the stay in the school, right? All these things consist in transcript, right? So then most of the school, they offer record at the end of a session or at the end of a term, right? Then if they have any problems, the counselor can suggest some remedial measures, right, to change the behavior or the performance of the client. Now, as an example, if the child is very weak in mathematics, so we can suggest the parents to give him extra classes to improve his performance, to change his behavior. Sometimes he may not like mathematics. He can't do the sums, but we can find a solution. If we find somebody to help him, so then he may change his behavior. He may change his the performance level. He may be good at his performance, right? So then even when the child is transferred from one school to the other, if we have this kind of transcript, it will be very, very important. You know that this time when we were interviewing students, we noticed some of the students who have some problems, right? So there was a girl, I was there in the panel, and we saw some kind of extra behavior in this child. She started trembling, right? And the one now in our panel, that there are some helpers, some peons and all, that one lady said that she referred to one other student, that student has initials from A to Z. She just mentioned, because previous child, she had so many initials in her name. So this lady mentioned that that one has so many initials, A to Z, that she has initials. She mentioned that girl started telling A to Z, A, B, C, D, F, G, H. Right? So we understood that she has some kind of odd behavior. So next day, she had been selected from the interview, and she came for the registration. Then we talked to the parents and the child. You know that you also should think of all these things. She has got very good results at all levels, but the parents said during the COVID period, this girl used to stay in the room and to use the smartphone for her study purposes. So during this time, this girl says she got connected with a group from Korea, right? She says that she got the opportunity to join a group in Korea, and they started chatting. Later on, she thinks that others can know about her. අනිත් අයට එයා ගැන කියන්න පුළුවන්, එයා ගැන හිතන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවා. Now, if I am confronting her, she thinks that I can understand what she thinks. එයා හිතන්නේ මොනවද කියලා මට තේරෙනවා කියලා එයා හිතනවා. So that's the problem she has, right? So later on, she understood that she can't follow the course, and she left. So then, so there are this kind of people. These, therefore, the records. Now, when this child goes from one school to the other, the records about the child is very, very important, because the other school may know that what kind of problem this girl has and how to deal with her. Now, if a child has depression and if the teacher scolds him badly, what will happen? So therefore, these records will be very, very important when a child goes from one class to the other. Okay. Right. Any other thing you would like to add? Philip, Anandaraja, Soumya? Add something more to this? The uses of keeping records of a client? No idea? Okay. Next on health records. Okay. What are health records? So they provide information related to the student's health, physical fitness level, and physical appearance, right? So then these health records are also very, very important. So they show about the physical fitness. If the child is suffering from some diseases or some mental problems, so then this information is very, very important, right? Attendance record. Now it's there in your school and in your class. So who takes the attendance?
Monitor.
Monitor or what happens during the second period? Who mark the register?
Teacher.
Teacher. Right. Then attendance records gives information about the student's attendance and how many days the child was present in the class and how many days he or she was absent, right? Then how many days she was punctual. Punctual means she came to the class on time, right? Like that. What are the uses of school records? Read and tell me. Read the information and tell me. What are the uses of school records? School records. You can go through my note and tell me because this is an interactive session, not that one-man show. That I am shouting, you are keeping quiet, not that. So we have to have an interaction. Then only you will understand well. What are the uses of school records? Why should the teachers keep records in the schools? What are the purposes of that? The school records give necessary information about the students' performance and progress in the school. The performance and progress. Then counselor can use the data to help the students to adjust to the school environment and help the students to learn in an effective manner. Right? Then counselor can use the data she or she has gathered, right? So and help that those data will help the child to adjust to the school environment. Thereby, it enable him to learn well, right, in an effective manner. Right, again, even the information from the records can be used to help the students understand their intellectual abilities. What are the intellectual abilities? Anybody who has got an idea? Intellectual abilities are what? What are intellectual abilities?
Extracurricular activities, ma'am.
No, Bhuta, no. Intellectual abilities is not that. What is? Anybody, any other ideas?
The ability or courage to do something new.
Hmm?
The innovative knowledge or the ability.
Okay. So then intellectual abilities are memory power, reasoning, තර්ක කිරීමේ හැකියාව, understanding, grasping concepts. So these are the intellectual abilities. මොලෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්. Memory, right? Understanding. Then skills and also understand their behavior for social development. So thereby we can identify their skills and their behavior in the society. So all these things can be recorded. Thereby we can decide what kind of skills we have to improve in them, what kind of knowledge we should give, right? Okay. What kind of extra support we should give them, right? Any other thing you want to add? Okay, any other thing you want to add? Okay, right. Then any other thing you want to, if you did not understand, tell me. I did not understand, and I can explain them again. Tell me any place that you did not understand. Are they clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about the others?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay with that. It seems these two boys are very, that means actively engaged in. Others are keeping quiet. I don't know whether they have somewhere else. Okay. Right. So then there are some more points. So then these records can be used by teachers and parents for what? For what they can use this information?
To understand the student and to help in the overall development.
They understand the students and help them in their overall development. What else? Okay. What else?
Sometimes, ma'am, I feel like the teachers are the fillers for the student. Sometimes the student having the ability to become a great leader in the world, but they might not understand their ability and their skills. So the teachers will be a filler and they will be support to the students that their abilities they are having, and they will let them know these are the knowledges and the abilities and the skills that you have. If you are working on this, you could be more intelligent in this field, or you can use your memory power in this field. So you could become a great achiever. I think the teachers can guide them like that if they are having the records of the students.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a good idea. Right. So then this information taken from the records can be used by the teachers and parents to understand their level, to understand their weaknesses. By understanding the weaknesses, they can help them to overcome the weaknesses and to see their improvement or development. Right. So then through the records maintained by the counselor, they can decide what kind of future activities for future, the what kind of future activities we can do with the student. And in any case, that if he is seeking for some kind of field for his profession, so we can help him to direct. Right. So if he's a very good student in mathematics, we can help guide him to do commerce or mathematics or some other subject related to some areas related to the subject. Right. So they are very, very helpful to help the child for his or her future. Right. Then
And also, there are some students, they're having a good study skills or the professional or the interest in the sports field, but they might not having the facility to improve their skills or the education support. Easily, we could say they might not having the facility to learn. So that if the teacher knows their records, if they're having the records of the student, they could help them without knowing by others. Sometimes the students will be feel guilty to share them their financial status with the teachers or with others. But if the teacher is having the details of the student, they could help them to find the financial assistance from the government. There are in our government they are providing a lot of facilities, right? Apart from that, if there is any of the individual who likes to help the students, those who are very poor but they are interested to learn, so if the teachers having the records, they could help them to achieve their goals.
yeah, so not only the government, even the teachers can find some sponsors. Right. So sometimes we always cannot depend on the government for these kind of help, but the teachers, they can find some sponsors. Now imagine, now there are some children who do not take food in the morning because of the economic that means problems. So then they can be provided with some meals. Right? So the teachers can make some arrangements for those kind of things. So now in certain schools during the now we had some problems in the country, and can you remember that there were what's it called, but now here some teachers, they brought extra packets of lunch, and some students brought, then they were kept in a cupboard. So those who need, they can go and collect them. So like that, teachers can find some means to help the children with some problems, right? So therefore the records are very, very helpful. They give lots of information about the child, and it enable the teacher to help the child, right? Okay. Then and even the second point, the records maintained by school counselors can help the students to take decisions about the future. So if we have some information about the child, that he is good at mathematics, he is good at sports, and he doesn't like what kind of science subjects, and he doesn't like mm, art subjects, but he is good at drawing. So then we can get information about the child and we can guide him. We can help him to take correct decisions related to his future profession. Okay. Next one. The records also provide information about the school and its functions and how these functions can help the students to fulfill their needs. So these records help them to get some information about those things. Then the school records also act as reference point. What do you mean by reference point? Yeah, what is that? I told you this referral. What is that? Maybe this client need another counselor, or maybe that he needs another school. He wants to, this child should change the environment that he is now. So these records give lots of information about the child. Thereby, the parents can help them. Sometimes now the children have certain problems, unaware by others. So they let them continue. Finally, sometimes they lose their life. Depression වගේ ඇවිල්ලා ඒගොල්ලෝ සමහර ජීවිතේ නැති කරගන්නවා. So therefore the records are very, very important, because we can identify the weak points of the child and we can help him to improve them, right? Overcome them. Okay. So then we can decide whether the child should be referred to another counselor, whether the child should go to another school, right? So then whether the child should be given something, some other strategies for his or her problem, so we can decide that. Okay. Essential elements of good records. Okay, read the note carefully and tell me. Otherwise, I will keep on talking. You will keep on shutting your mouths. And sometimes you don't take anything to your head. So therefore, we'll have an interactive session. You just explain the essential elements of good records. What are they? Yes. Okay. Are you reading them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you ready? What are the essential elements of good records?
Give me some time, ma'am.
Okay, it's okay with the right.
Sorry, ma'am.
It's okay. Because I want this to be very interactive rather than I keep on talking, then you will fall asleep. So you also should have some kind of interaction with me.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, Bhutta. Ready?
Yeah, ma'am.
Mm.
Yeah, generally the school record should be very like it should be easy to understand by the teachers or by the others who should know about the student. It should be
Okay.
like easy to understand, and
That's the first and
also
that's the first thing. Okay. Then.
the explanation by the student, it should be explained everything. Like
Mm.
sometimes if
Mm.
they are telling about only education aspect of the student, the
Mm.
teacher might think the educated student, yeah, they are only the educated people, and these people are they cannot learn anymore. So if the record of the student, if it is having the details regarding their education and their abilities and their achievements in the university and their extracurricular knowledge and all the things, if it is includes for all the aspect of the student, which can help to understand the student aspect of the it helps to understand the student completely, which
Mm.
can help the teacher to understand a student completely. Also, the teacher can help the student very easily.
Okay. And other thing is not only the teacher, even an outsider reads the records, he or she should be able to understand it fully. Right? So
Yes,
sometimes that the counselor may write certain things, short notes for his or her convenience, but it's not the way. We have to write complete record of the child, the situation and all. Even after some times, after some years, if anybody read the records, he should be should be able to understand them very easily. Right? Okay. Yeah, Bhuta,
yes.
continue.
As a teacher profession, we should treat all the students equally, right? So
Hmm.
whenever we are knowing the student behaviors and the social connection with the people of that student,
Hmm.
then we can interact with the student very easily. So
Hmm.
the report should be explain the behavior of the student and the student's strength, what are the weaknesses student does have, and what are the background that student have, that the whether student having the poor background or is a rich background. So according to his background, we can handle the student very easily. So the report should be explain the details of the student, which should include all the details of the student.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Another thing is that it should be very constructive in nature. Constructive means that
It
we
is a
should,
properly aligned.
yeah, and constructive, even we give feedback. Now, when we give feedback for somebody, we should give constructive feedback. Construct means we should give something for the person to develop, not to destroy the person, to develop.
Okay.
If the person does something wrong or something that not suitable, so we should give constructive feedback for the person to develop, right? So like that, records also must be constructive. So then they must provide all the necessary details related to the student and the development of the students. And also, they should contain all the strengths of the child, weaknesses of the child's behavior, his behavior with the society, especially now when he's behaving with the students in the school. So we observe now, when we observe the child, so we observe the behavior of the child when the child is studying in the classroom, whether he is interactive with others, cooperate the others, whether he corners, because whether he likes to be cornered, whether he likes to be isolated. So then all these behaviors should be included in the report, right? And that how he uses abilities, skills. And what do you mean by cognitive aspect of the student? What is cognitive? What do you mean by
The
cognitive?
perception of the student.
Yeah, perception is also one aspect. So then cognitive means that the actions of the brain, memory, understanding, reasoning, perception, all these things, cognitive aspect of the student, right? So how he uses his brain, the ability of the brain, right? So then these records help the teachers to judge the child, right? His behavior, his abilities, his needs, and what kind of support the child needs. Sometimes, as an example, now imagine this kind of thing: a child who was very playful and very clever, very straightforward child, after some time becomes very isolated, not very neat. He doesn't consider about his dress or hair, and most of the time he thinks, then he has changed his behavior. So then what can be the reason for this? You can give a lot of reasons. Tell me. There can be many reasons for his change of his behavior. Tell me some kind of reasons.
Generally, he might be having the family problems or the
Oh,
financial problems, or
okay.
he might be can have the problem with the teachers and the
Okay.
surroundings that he is studying with, and
Ah,
he might be having the problems with the students who are studying with him,
mm.
or
Okay.
the personal problems, or he might be addicted to the smartphones and the games.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
There are
Lots.
lots.
And also maybe the child that who had been taken care of by the parents, maybe the one of the closest one, death of a closest one, or the closest one has gone abroad, or maybe the arrival of a newborn sister or brother. What happens then when a new child is born to the family? What happens to this one? So he or she feels that he has been neglected by the parents, right? So then he thinks that my parents, they love my brother or newly born sister. Then she or he thinks think that it's better to be isolated from the others. So then the change of behavior can be observed due to these reasons. So what should the teachers do if they observe this kind of behavior of the child? What should the teacher do? Yes. Tell. Now imagine you observe a change of behavior in the child. As I told, now at the very beginning, this child was very playful and very forward. But after some time, we see some kind of change in the behavior of the child. What should the teacher do?
Teacher should prioritize the child,
What do you mean by prioritize, Papa?
accepting his or her feelings
Hmm.
and his come ups.
Okay. Hmm. Any other thing? Now teacher should or teacher should talk to the child. Teacher should show more
Teacher
attention.
should be friendly.
Yeah, it should be friendly and pay more attention to the child, and should show indicate that teacher is more attentive related
Attend.
to attentive to the child, and then be close to the child. Okay. Any other thing teacher can do?
Special care, ma'am.
Yes, we can take care of the child. Don't you want to find the reason, root cause for his change?
That is the compulsory thing that we have to focus is on, ma'am. First, we have
Yeah.
to talk to the student first. Whenever we found out the solution from
Mm.
him, like whenever we found the problem from him, then we have to analyze the problem, whether
Yeah.
the problem that can be solved by us, or do we need to, as you said, do we need to meet the referral people.
Hmm.
So the doctor, or sometimes the student might be having the child abuse problem. In that case,
Yeah.
we cannot directly help them, right? So in that case, we need the support from the government or the hospital, because he might be having the body condition problem. So we have to help him through the referral. So we have
Hmm.
to understand the problem at first. According to the problem, we have to find the solution. If we cannot give the solution, we have to find the referral.
Okay. So then, first of all, we have to find the root cause for the change of behavior. So then we can talk to the child, we can talk to his parents, right? And the teachers, previous teachers. So first of all, we need to find the root cause for his change of behavior. Maybe he or she might have undergone some abuse. Then we can immediately attend to it and support him to overcome the problem, right? So teachers should be very much vigilant about the children, because since you are associating, because since you are working with them, you can notice even the slight changes of behavior of the children. Then in any case, if they need any help, you have to attend, because they are immature, so they don't know what kind of solutions they should take. So I can remember that when I went for, normally we go for um, internship supervision, they are in one of the schools. The principal and the teachers have attended to one of the students because that she is undergoing some kind of abuse, and it is known by the parents. With their knowledge, this child is being abused by somebody. So these kind of things may happen. Sometimes a relative, maybe the closest relative, is abusing the child. So then you have to take immediate actions. So I can remember that there was a case that I saw in news during the corona period. A child has been undergone some abuse by the father. This child has told the story with the teacher who is responsible for discipline in the school. But this teacher has not taken any action. So later on, some neighbors have complained this to the police station. There, the police have taken the teacher and the principal who have not listened to this child to the custody, because the reason they have given was, though the child has presented her problem, they have unheeded to it. They have not listened to it. They have not attended to it. That's also a crime, because when the children tell us their problems, we have to immediately attend to them. අපිට ඒව ignore කරන්න බෑ. අපි ඉක්මනටම attend වෙන්න ඕනේ වගේ දෙයකට. There were so many cases, I think, in the TV, and 9-year-old child who has been harassed by the stepmother. Can you remember? I don't know whether you can remember them. So the child has been harassed by the stepmother. පුංචි අම්මයට කරදර කළ පුංචි අවුරුදු 9 ළමයට, because she has to do all the household work, and she's been beaten. And there were several cases. Even that there was a boy who had been undergoing lots of harassments, because the mother has given this child to a neighboring house to bring up, because this mother has gone with another person. So this family has tortured him, harassed him, because he has to do lots of household work. Even he is attending school, and he has to do lots of household work. Apart from that, he has to facilitate the family members. Kakul mirikanna, egolanta හැමදේම ගෙනත් දෙන්න. So then finally he had been suffering for 4 years without telling this, revealing this. Finally, he has told it to a teacher or somebody. And this case was given to the police, and they have taken some measures to file case against the family. So like that, teachers can do a lot of, because that sometimes the children are very helpless. They can't take decisions on their own. So sometimes they see the teachers as the gods and goddesses that they can find solutions. Therefore, being a teacher, it's not only the teaching syllabus or whatever the things that we have to know about each and every child, and if they have any problems we have to attend to it. That's why the knowledge of guidance and counseling is very, very helpful to a teacher, right? Any other thing you want to add? Anybody? So do you have that kind of experience, Kaushalya, Philip, Anandaraja? Do you have any experience?
Regarding, yeah, I have seen one student and he had a problem.
Okay.
Like he was a boy. When I was studied in India, I was studied in India. So at that time period of time, I was completed my counseling. So there was a guy who came to counseling. He was abused by his stepbrothers and by some other people, by boys. He was a boy and he got abused by boys.
Ayo.
Later on, he felt he should not live anymore in the world. So he tried a suicide attempt, and he was just 15 years old guy. So like he had that problem around 8 to 9 years. Then we gave some suggestions to him, and we found a doctor to check his health condition. He had a lot of problems in his body also. So that was the very worst case ever we had when I was doing the counseling. Then after that incident, I have stopped to
Why?
counseling with people because like as a boy, I cannot tolerate that situation because like he had a lot of problems, like his family members, even the family members, he abused him, those boys. So
So
that
then,
was the very
being a teacher and counselor, that if you could save his life, you should continue it rather
yeah
than
we did.
stopping it.
Yeah, I helped him a lot. Now he's studying in the college and he started his engineering degree. And recently he talked to me. That is apart from the topic, but I have stopped my counseling sessions.
So then, why did you stop? Then you could save his life, and you could have saved some other lives also.
Then I am busy with my careers, and I just stopped that thing. Like I have
Ayo.
started to focus on the education, but that was the really worst phase ever I had in my psychology career.
Okay, but anyway, that if you can, with the knowledge that even that teachers, they don't need much knowledge to help somebody. So
That's true,
sometimes
ma'am.
listening to somebody may help to overcome
That's
their
true.
problems.
That's
Only
true, ma'am. I
listening.
didn't expect that. When he came to the counseling, I was feeling like he got beaten by some others. So there was another case, but I didn't give the counseling to them. Whenever I was studying in the university, there was some students, they were using ganja and some other, so they used some of other drugs. So they had a new roommate for there, like in my university, which was a very rich and it was an international university. So there are a lot of students were studying. So the new guy came to that university. He was, I think, 17 years old, 18 years old for his diploma to that university. So whenever he entered the room, they closed the room and they took the videos of him by nude, and they started to abuse him by saying the words like, "You have to jump from the 11th floor, or you have to cut your penis." So he was feeling so nervous. Then he went to the bathroom and locked the door. Then all the guys were abused him on that day. It was a big news about my university. It was BBC, like Indian big news channel, BBC, right? So they have telecast this problem. So then he went in the next day after got abused by these people, and he went to the home and he was cried in the early morning, and he doesn't have mother, and he is having the singles father. He's having only father, and he's having the sister. So whenever his sister was asking about the situation, he didn't share anything because he is feeling nervous, and he was frustrated by those things.
Hmm.
So then the father came and he checked his body condition, and he saw the beaten marks on his body, and there were some people who bite, like they bite on his chest and his private parts.
Hmm.
Then he got admitted. Then the lucky case was his father was a CBI.
Ha.
So all other students got arrested on the same day when he got
Hmm.
admitted in hospital. So that was the very bad case in India I heard.
And you saw, Puta, that recently that doctor, that the pupil doctor was raped and killed.
Yeah. It is a current news. It is still ongoing. They
Hmm.
having the same problem now. So those things cannot be tolerated in this generation. Like I think like our generative people, like this generation people are much more understandable. But some people, the like we cannot say they are uneducated, but those who are using the drugs or they are addicted by something, they are doing this nonsense stuffs. They are not caring whether they are child or they are elders. They are doing to everyone, even
Hmm.
with the boys. That is my very bad concern on this topic, man.
Okay. Hmm. Now that
Okay,
one
apart
reason.
from
Yes.
yeah, man. Yeah, tell me, man.
Okay. The one reason is the technology that it also has badly affected
That
people.
is the main thing, man.
Yeah,
I
because that.
think
Uh,
yeah, we accept technology in 2010 to 2020. In
hmm.
that situation, we didn't had this much of problems. But after the COVID pandemic, those people who were having the curfew situation, when they have been going through the curfew situation, they started to addicted to the this type of nonsense stuffs. Like they are addicted to the phone, then they
Hmm.
joined in the some bad groups and some yeah, the adult groups, even the childs. Even if they are not 14 years old, they are using some adult groups. They are involved
That's
in those.
yeah, because that this COVID period, they mostly that they ruin the
Yes,
lives of
one of the
people. So then I
something.
told you, yeah, I told you about a girl that who came for our interview. That's the same thing because she's a very clever girl, but unfortunately now it's very. I think that it cannot be corrected now. She has
That is
become,
the
she's a very
problem.
talented girl, but now she has become a burden to the parents. I don't know whether it is it's a correctable thing. So her condition is worse actually in
That is
vain.
the thing, man.
Hmm.
Like
So.
some of the students, they were studied in school, ma'am. In that COVID situation, some of the students were studied in the school.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, yeah, even in Sri Lanka,
Hmm.
there's some of the students they have completed their GC advanced level examination. Some of them they were studied grade 12th and 13th. There was a girl. I just wanted to inform this situation. She came to the school every day. On that
Hmm.
day, she was telling to the teacher she had a stomach pain.
Mhm.
Then on that day, she was playing netball afternoon.
Mhm.
She
Mm.
played netball. Then she was telling to the one of the teacher that, sir, I do have a stomach pain. I have to go to the hospital. Then the teacher was telling her, okay, go and take rest, but don't take leave tomorrow. You have the match. Come tomorrow. Then there was a doctor. He called the teachers, and the teachers went to the hospital, and the teachers were shocked because she's having the baby. So the situation was so one of my friend was a teacher at that school, so he was complaining. The doctors were asking me, what did you do? The teacher was telling, I didn't do anything. The girl did something outside. How the doctor can ask me that question?
Yeah.
So
What
it
did you
was
do?
some funny things were happening there, but the girl was very clever and well educated girl, like Whenever she was studied in the school, she used to involved in education and the extracurricular activities. She was a national player in netball. And also, she is having a good research in GC ordinary level examination, 9 A's. But she did some nasty things because of this technology.
That's the thing, yeah. So then technology is
Depending
a good thing, but we have to use them very carefully, right? So now,
in
because
in a good way.
yeah, because sometimes that children that they get used to some games at very. Can you remember that recently one child was shot dead by himself that he used to play
Blue
games?
whale game.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
that was
also
a
very
blue
fatal.
whale game, right now.
Right, that's the thing. So we have to be very careful when we are using the technology. Okay,
Yeah,
right,
that is.
good. Yeah, we had a very
Apart from this topic, okay, ma'am. Apart from this topic, we have to go to the essential element of good records, right? So in that, we have to include one more thing that if we having the records with the paragraph manner, no one will interested to read about the students. But if the records are having in a single line, or if they're mentioned very short and sweet, the teacher,
yeah,
the reader, or the counselor will have the
yes.
interest to read the records of the student.
Yes,
So
yes.
the
When we
record
have
should
lengthy
be very.
records, yeah, nobody is interested in reading lengthy record. They should be very short but very descriptive and easily understandable. Right. So then, yeah. So then, good records must be versatile. Versatile means we should be able to use for different purposes, not only for one thing. Right. So then, whenever we require, we should be able to use them for different purposes. Right. So then not only for one objective, so we can use for different objectives and we can save time and energy. So then when we are maintaining records, there should be a purpose for that. So what's the purpose? Maybe to help the child, or maybe to collect information and to understand the problem. So there should be a purpose of keeping records, right? So then we have to if we have a purpose, we have to collect information, or we have to write the records in an effective manner in order to cater to the need, right? Okay. So then record must always be cross-indexed, and overall record pointing to the various records must be maintained for easy retrieval and access. So when we are maintaining records, we should be able to access to them at any time. So if we want, we should be able to access. ඕන්ලාවක එක අපිට බලන්න කියවන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. Right? Right. Then for quick reference, as my child said, so then we should be able to refer to them very quickly, not lengthy records. We should have, it should be brief but understandable and informative. So it should be brief, right? Record should be brief and anybody should be able to understand and to come to some conclusion and understand the problem very well. Right. So then American Association Code of Ethics related record keeping and maintenance. There are certain ethics we have to maintain when we are keeping records. What's the first and foremost thing? Yeah, what's the first and foremost thing when we are keeping records?
Confidential.
It is the confidentiality. We should not reveal the information in the records to anybody. In any case, if they required from the police or a court case, we can provide, unless we should not reveal it to anybody, because we have to maintain the privacy of the counselor. We have to think of his dignity and his privacy and his future, right? So then, so we have to maintain these records in a place where everybody cannot access, right? So then they should be kept in a safe location that only the authorized people, that means the people who should refer, only can access to the records. And other people who they should not be allowed to read them or take actions, right? Okay, so therefore confidentiality of the records, confidentiality of the information is very important. Then the next thing is permission, right? So then when we keep records, we have to tell the client that we are maintaining the record. We have to get the permission from the client to keep the records, right? So then it's a duty of the counselor to obtain permission from the client to maintain the records, right? Then sometimes we can record the sessions. In any case, if we feel that we can't write everything during the period, we can record them, and later on we can put them into notes. So, but in this case also, we have to make the client aware that we are recording the interview in order to prepare records. Right. Then client's access. So then the counselor must provide the client access to the record when asked for the same. Now, whenever the client asks for the records, we should give him or her. We can't keep them and lock. So whenever they ask the record, we should be able to give them, right? So in most cases, the counselors provide complete access to the records. However, if the counselor feels that the information in the records can harm the client, right? So sometimes the information, if we feel that it may harm the client, so we should not give the permission to go through all the information. We can give them some certain information, but not all, right? So then some, if we feel, now as an example, imagine he is suffering from some kind of fatal disease, right? So then we understood that he is undergoing this kind of thing. So we should not let him know it, because if he knows that, he may go upset. So then we can hide that part from him, and we can show him certain records, right? So we have to think of that. If it is harmful for the client, we should not give him total access, complete access. We can give partial access to the records. Then when the counselors are working with a group of clients, right, they provide the individuals only the records pertain to them. So now imagine that they are working with a group. The group all the group has the now, especially in group counseling, we give group counseling. Then the whole group is given counseling. But when we have kept records related to individuals, we should not show those things to the whole group, because that we are violating the confidentiality part. Because that now, if we have written, if there are A, B, C, D, E children, now we have written some notes about A, B, C, and D separately. So we should not give the whole group to see the record. Then they will know about A, B, C. Therefore, we should not let them know about them. So then we can show only their part, not the information that we have written about the entire group. So then records are confidential and the access is limited. So we should not give everything to everyone. Okay, next one, disclosure or transfer. Okay, read and tell me what do you mean by disclosure or transfer? Okay, what are the things we have to take care of during disclosure or transfer? Read, understand, and tell me. Explain. You can add some more. Yes, okay, anybody? Would like to contribute?
It is completely talking about the getting permission from the client to sharing the confidential things to the new counselor. Sometimes whenever, as we talk about the, in case if we need to meet the referral people for that particular situation, to help the client in that situation, client might be having the diseases, as you said, or he might be face some of the psychological trauma in his past. So
Mm,
all of those things we have to get permission from the client
mm.
to share the confidential details to the new counselor or the new referral people. That is
Okay.
what.
Okay. So then when we have to, in any case, when we happen to refer the client to another counselor or a psychiatrist or a doctor or any other expert, right, to a third party, then the counselor need to obtain the permission from the client first. We have to inform the client and tell, we are going to now, we are referring you to another counselor and we are going to give all the information we have recorded to him. So before doing that, we have to get permission from the client, right? Because these records have very sensitive information we have collected from them about their family, about their relationships, about some private things, right? So therefore we have to make sure that unauthorized people, that people outsiders, that they are taking access to the information, right. Okay, testing techniques. Now we have already discussed about the most important part of this client's recording part. Now we have come to another thing, testing techniques, right? So then there are certain testing, non-testing, that means a non-experimental and experimental techniques to collect data. So here we are talking about these testing techniques. Okay, go through this and tell me what is this testing techniques we are talking about. What are these testing techniques? Why do we use this? Right? So there are certain testing techniques we have to use to decide about the problem of the child, of the client. Thereby we can decide what kind of counseling service or guidance needed by the client. And sometimes these techniques help to improve their confidence, and it also help to improve their behavior, their ability to adjust to the environment, their ability to find solutions to their problems, their ability to lead a healthier life, happy life, right? So these testing techniques are very, very important sometimes to understand the problem by the client, right? Okay. Selecting the test. Okay, right. Now there are certain information related to that. Okay, go through and tell me what is this. How can now imagine, now we need to do a test for the client. How can we do that? Yes, anybody? You can tell. You can go through the notes and tell me how can we decide the correct test for the client. Talk. Now you can go through the notes and tell. I give the opportunity for you to read and then explain, understand and explain. Okay, right? So when we are selecting test, right? Now, if we feel that a client should undergo a test, the counselor or the practitioner find out the most suitable test for the client. The most suitable test we can use for the client to collect the expected data. Right? There are so many tests. Out of them, which is the best test we can use for this client to collect data. Right? So then, for this, the practitioner may make use of test manuals. So there are certain tests, then he can go through them and select the best test for the client. Right? Then he can understand, after going through the manual, he can understand, so what kind of resources he needs, what kind of, how to do the test, right? So then what does this test do? What kind of results he can get? How to analyze the data? So all these things he can understand from the manuals, right? Okay. Then administering the test, conducting the test, right? So then there are certain ways we can do tests. අපිට ඕන විදිහට ටෙස්ට් කරන්න බෑ. There are certain norms. ඒකට සම්මත විදිහක් තියෙනවා. Standard norms that require the practitioners to follow. Right? So then they are also mentioned in certain manuals. There are some steps. Right? So then sometimes we need to use these tests for individual clients, or sometimes we can use them for groups, right? So it depends on the client taking the test and the purpose that we conduct the test. So if we summarize, when the counselor understand the problem of the client, if he or she wants to gather information, he has to decide which test should be used for the client. So it can be understood from the manuals. Specific manuals are there. So by reading them, we can understand the steps that we can use to carry out the test. And we have to, there are certain norms, there are some standards we have to follow when we are giving the tests, right? So then it can be, these tests can be done for individuals or groups, right? And it depends on the purpose why we are doing the test and what kind of results we expect, and how can we conduct the tests. Okay. Scoring of tests. Scoring means collecting data or collecting marks, right? So in most general cases, machine-based test scoring is carried out. Give me an example for machine-based scoring. There's a very popular test that they use machines to give results. What are they? You know that very, very popular test. Many of them.
Generally, there is a two tests. One is shock treatment, and the second one is whether they are telling the truth or the lie, according to their brains and the nerves connection with the wire, which can tell, which can show that he's lying or he's telling the truth, according to the statement.
Even the IELTS, have you taken IELTS exams? There, that it is computer based. So when you mark certain answers, the computer, the machine identifies whether it is correct or wrong. So accordingly, they give the score, right? They are machine based test scoring. Okay? So machine based scoring is considered better than manual scoring, because that sometimes manual scoring, we may miss certain things. We may be biased, or sometimes without knowing we put marks, right? Okay. So then it is not there when we use machines, right? Right. So even we can go and we can go through some manuals to and follow the instructions when we are giving scores to tests, right? Next one, interpreting the test. So interpretation of the test is based on the instructions provided in the manual guide for the test. So there are certain manuals we have to undergo we have to read the instructions well and follow them, right? So then there are different types of tests. So based on the type of test, we can give instructions to the client, or we can make him aware. So the purpose and then how to do the test, right? Okay, next one. Communicating the test results, right? So the process of testing ends in providing the test results to the client. So finally, we give the results to the client, right? So then how can we, there are different ways we can communicate the results. How can we do that? Now, as IELTS results, how can we come to know it? Does somebody tell you that your results is this? So they give you a result sheet, non-verbal technique, right? So then, anyway, that we finally we should let the client know his or her results, right? So that is we can communicate either verbally or non-verbally. We can tell his results, or else we can give him a result sheet, right? The main issues in testing is that confidentiality, right? So then when a test is conducted by the guidance and counseling practitioner, so we have to make sure it is conducted in complete confidentiality. That's the most important ethic in counseling, right? So then we have to communicate the results, the test results only to the client. So now we have certain, how do you call, portals in the computer that only the relevant person can find the results, right? Anybody who has that experience? Now we have the software that we can see only our results. We cannot see other people's results, right? So if we want to share, if we want to reveal the test results to others, we have to get the consent of the client, right? Then we have to discuss the issues of confidentiality before the test administered, because sometimes you have to say, now this is the results are very confidential, so therefore you have to follow these rules and regulations, right? Right, okay. Any other thing you want to add to this? Anybody who has this kind of experience by taking the tests? Okay, tell me what kind of test we are taking with these clients. To understand their problems. Anandraj, do you have any kind of idea about taking tests to decide the problem of the clients?
Yes, we do, ma'am. Generally,
Okay, tell
test
some.
can be, it might be, can be the interview sessions. It can be the interview session throughout the, it can be a test for them. Apart from that, they will give some task to them to complete, like how to say that the puzzles were there, right? The
Mm,
6 color puzzles were there, so to solve the puzzles. Apart from that, there is a simple games, the mind games, to
mm,
complete one place to another place.
mm,
I think we can see from the papers like Dinamina, or there are some of the papers were there, generally newspapers. In that, the children portion were there. In that session, we have to start one place, and like they will put the rabbit, and if the rabbit should go to the end point, which path the rabbit should take. Likewise, we have seen some of the children's
take.
game, right, the
Mm,
mind games. So likewise,
mm,
they do
okay.
have the some of the games at basically at first. So
Okay.
according to those tests, according to their interview sessions, they will let them know the counselor that they are having this type of problem or they are mentally upset. Once the counselor understood whether they have to follow the same type of test or they need to start a shock treatment or any other the norm related test, they will decide accordingly.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. So then, the most important thing is before giving the test, now we have to decide what kind of test we are giving the client, and we have to get prepared for the test, right? Otherwise, now we know the purpose of giving the test. We should have a purpose of giving the test, and we have to decide what kind of test we are going to give and what kind of results we are expecting. So keeping all these things in the mind, we have to get prepared for the test beforehand, right? So then counselor should know how to conduct the test. So because after deciding, we can't think how to do it. We have to, before conducting the test, we have to be well prepared. We have to prepare the test. We should know what kind of results we are expecting. And then we should know the methods or the steps we have to follow. All these things we have to keep it in mind, right? And okay, and the reliability of the test, it's very, very important. The test should be very much reliable and it should not be subjective or partial. It should be very reliable test. Then only we can we can take the best results and genuine results, right? Okay. Then the other thing is, rather than doing the test for the first time, it's better if the counselor has previous experiences of conducting the tests. Then he knows that if there are certain mistakes, if there were certain mistakes that he underwent, then he can correct it when he is doing this next time. So therefore, when conducting tests, it's better if we have some previous experiences related to the tests, right? Right. So then we'll continue this psychological tests and their types next day, because I think it's too much for you if we talk all these things. Now we have been talking about, what did we talk today at the very beginning? Keeping records, right? So we discussed the importance of keeping records. Why should we keep records? How can we do that? So after that, what kind of data we should keep in records. Then we discuss about confidentiality of records, then testing techniques, then selecting tests and process of testing, selecting the test, administering the tests, and scoring, how to get scores and how to interpret the test, then how to communicate the results and the issues related to the confidentiality. Then yes, that's all. So anything that you need to get clarified, tell me, that you did not understand or that you need to add. So we'll do these psychological tests next day, because I feel that's too much if I talk all these things at once. So if you have anything you did not understand up to this place, tell me.
Madam,
Yes, Puta?
we did not get the PowerPoint presentation, madam. We only got the three subject in the lesson, madam.
Okay, I will send all today. Don't worry. I will send to the group and you just remind the coordinator.
Okay.
So then you need 4. What are the PowerPoint presentations you need? 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, madam.
Yeah, 4, 5. We are doing 7th one, no? 7th or 8th. 8th one. This is the 8th one. So from 3rd, I will send you.
We only got the 3 presentation, madam.
That means
First,
1, 2, 3. First, second, third.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. I'll send the rest. So this is
Okay.
the 8th
Hello.
one. We have. Yes, Puta?
I'm really sorry for the interruption. I am joined today, so I don't
Okay,
have any
it's
excerpt
okay.
of the PDF notes. So I don't know what you both are talking about.
What's that? Okay, repeat it.
Like I was confused that what you both are talking about. Like
No.
we are
Because that now this is the 8th, because we had been discussing. So now I think today is the 7th day, right? 7th day of our the 7th day of our class. We had been discussing from because from the very beginning up to date, there were so many PowerPoint presentations we have been discussing. So she's requesting
okay.
some of the PowerPoint presentations. That's what.
Now I really need that because I didn't attend any of them, right? So I just
Okay.
need your note. Yeah,
Okay.
ma'am.
Right.
How about the assignments, ma'am? Like once we have completed the each and every unit, do we need to submit, or according to the subject, we have to submit one by one? How it is the assignment
So
box?
still I was not given any instruction related to that. So I was asked to conduct 12 12 days I have to cover. Now almost I have covered 6 days now. So 6 more days to come. So during that time I will cover the module they had given. So in any case that you better ask from the coordinator, how can we, because I was not instructed anything related to the assignments. Uh, if I aware, I will let you know, and you have the right, you can ask them uh, how to do the assignments, and all the information you can ask from the coordinator, but I was not aware about it. I was not informed.
Yes, 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 sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day to you, ma'am.
Okay,
Good
right.
night.
And you are nice having a child like you, because then others also can get some more information from you. It's good that if
Oh,
others
so
also talk and give ideas.
thank you for your kind words, ma'am.
Okay, because that counseling is very interesting subject, because it's not the theory, that we have to apply it practically with the practical situation, practical scenarios for the betterment of the people. So it's not only the
That's
theory, that we have to use it practically.
that's true, ma'am. That's
Okay, right. Then I will send to the group. Then you request from the coordinator the PowerPoint presentations. Okay. So thank you
yeah,
for
yeah,
your
sure.
Oh,
cooperation, and we had a nice time working with you.
thank you, madam.
Okay. Hope to see you on 9th, right? Okay. Good night.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Okay, good night.